Comotor SA was a joint venture between NSU and Citroën, created in Luxembourg in April 1967. Its goal was to produce Wankel engines. In fact, Citroën also worked on the rotary engine based on the Wankel principle, although they never signed an official license agreement with the rights holder at NSU. Instead, this cooperation existed with the Comotor company from Luxembourg, in which Citroën held shares. In this way, it was possible to hide the intended business relationship from the competition. Citroën and NSU planned a joint venture project with the engine invented by Felix Wankel. There were to be two model versions, one to be marketed by each manufacturer. In 1967, the two companies jointly founded Comotor and began building a new plant in Alt-Furweiler near Saarlouis. Between 1967 and 1969, Citroën engineers worked at NSU to learn about rotary engine technology. It followed an earlier 1964 joint venture of both companies, the Geneva-based Comobile subsidiary, focusing of the development on the engines. Comotor engines were used by Citroën M35 and by Citroën GS Birotor. This led to the premiere of the Citroën M35, the first production-ready Citroën with such an engine. The Wankel engine was a single rotor with around 0.5 liter of chamber volume and 36 kW for 49 horsepower and 50 pound-foot of torque, 68 Nm of torque. According to the factory specs, the car could accelerate from 0 to 100 km per hour in 19 seconds, 10 seconds faster than a standard Army 8, and reach a top speed of about 90 miles per hour, 140 km per hour. The car also had a larger 11-gallon 43 liters fuel tank to improve range, as the fuel tank in the standard Army 8 was deemed too small. Citroën used its own portfolio for body and chassis parts, so the Army 8 supplied large parts of the front end, lights and the rear fenders. Then other parts came from the commercial vehicle version and were shortened. Heuliez was responsible for other sheet metal work and designed a coupe with long hatchback. For the final assembly, the body shells and engines went to Citroën plant in Rennes. The M35 was an experimental vehicle and was not officially sold, rather it was supplied to loyal Citroën customers to get their comments on the usability of the design. Due to its experimental status, each car featured a banner at the bottom of the rear window which read in French, "This Citroën M35 prototype, fitted with a rotary piston engine, is undergoing long-term testing at the hands of a Citroën customer." Only 267 prototype cars were produced, then they got sent back to Citroën for destruction of the project, but some customers managed to keep the cars. Around the same time, in autumn 1973, Citroën presented the GS Birotor at the International Motor Show in Frankfurt. Its twin-rotor Wankel engine offered a completely new driving experience compared to the conventional engine of the Citroën GS, thanks to its exceptionally smooth running and torque. Then further development of the unit from the NSU Raw 80 was slightly weaker with 107 h-power of power and 137 Nm of torque. The data was 14 seconds to 100 km per hour and top speed 175 km per hour. This type of motor is noted for its smooth power delivery, which complemented the luxurious ride quality of the hardwood pneumatic suspensions. The engine was also small in displacement relative to its power, an advantage for touch horsepower calculations which drive automotive design in France. De Vivotori was re-engineered from the Comotor C24 engine. It still featured disc brakes all around, ventilated in the front, but had the front brakes mounted outboard rather than inboard like on the standard GS. In addition, different wheels with a 5-bolt pattern rather than 3 and a 3-speed semi-automatic transmission were combined with a more luxurious interior and flared fenders to set the Vivotori apart from its lesser siblings. The Vivotori cost as much as a Largo Citroën DS and 70% more than a standard GS. The fuel economy was worse than the largest DS, the DS23 EFI, since it was not economical for its size and was launched in October 1973, the exact start of the 1973 oil crisis. The Vivotori version achieved poor sales and was quickly pulled from the market after 847 units were sold. Rising fuel prices in 1973 nullified market demand for the fuel-thirsty engines. The vast sums that were invested in the Comobile and Comotor were a major contribution to the bankruptcy of both NSU and Citroën.